All right.
Oh, dang, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, the bikes are live. We're in the game. For those of you who didn't know what was going on, it's too bad. We're watching Overwatch right now. It's Matthew on to the point. He's got to worry about these sim turrets. It's going to be the bat getting quite low. Zap actually gets the first pick of the fight. That's incredible. So Ibink's going to follow it up with a kill on the enemy Reinhardt as well. GMU getting kills left and right. Just the Doomfist left. And just like that, only one death on the point. GMU is going to take control right before the point unlocks, and now we are in it. We are playing Overwatch, and this is GMU versus ODU. I'm HamsterQuest, joined by Griff.
Yes, that's me. Getting utterly confused because I saw both teams coming out of spawn, thinking we had a little time to recover, but the Symmetra teleports, but both teams right on point, and they're going to be rolling it out once again. There's no time to stop here. All action. Bit of a duel going off in the back. Binks and Nine are both going to fall off the edge. Unfortunate for them. George Mason's going to have to work this fight without any DPS for the remainder, and it's understandably not going to go too well.
Yeah, just the D.Va left there on point, right, stalling for a little bit longer. They get the point percentage up to 29%, but ODU is going to flip that back over to theirs. They're going to have two ultimates, the Sim Wall and the Doomfist, available. GMU just have the window to work with. They're going to have to play a little bit slow going into this next fight. Of course, it is a mirror match, so they're not looking to play any differently, more spammy or brawly than the other side. They have to worry about the sim wall going in, but they do have the window up. Amform is trying to get as much value as he can off of it. Unfortunately, does get picked by the Doomfist, who's still alive. Gets his Doomfist off. GMU playing behind the sim wall. Unfortunately, Matthew isn't quite there. He's going to go down in the fight, but Binks is pumping out a lot of damage. Sees the D.Va. Is trying to close that kill. Does dodge Reinhardt ult and has 1 health available as the rest of GMU try to get on the point. They're going to commit the bomb. They haven't fully flipped it over. Now Matthew joining the point. They just have to get this Immort field out, and now the Reinhardt goes down. Just the Doomfist and the Lucio left. They do have to watch out here, but they have the Immort to stay alive. The Sim is now involved in the fight. That's going to go down to the hands of Niner. Right, also going to pick up that Lucio and destroy the TP just like that. Fortunately, about 60% on the point for ODU, but GMU does get that flip.
Yeah, long as it may have taken, I can't believe George Mason actually was able to win that fight in the first place. Definitely some individual performances coming out there, just staying alive, biding their time, snaking their way all around the point and getting some key picks in the meanwhile. George Mason going to take the objective, slowly creep up onto ODU's percentage on the clock here. We're going to equalize shortly here as George Mason's going to push up here and look for another fight. Nine are going to go into the back and get an easy punch onto ODU's Lucio. Peep Cheap going to do the exact same for ODU, and sneaky in the meanwhile, ODU's teleported to the point and flipped the capture. George Mason going to collect a couple more picks so that they don't have to go into an even fight here. And now they're going to contest the point. Nine are going to go in the back line, try and knock up and push around those 2 players that are remaining. Doomfist going to come in from ODU as well, pop the ultimate. Going to look for a target here. Zappat going to respond with a beat just to make sure nobody goes down to that Doomfist, and might be a little bit too late. I spoke too soon, actually. Doomfist on ODU going to come in and try and get a pick, but it's a little bit too late. George Mason survives that precarious situation there, and once again equalizes the percentage.
Yeah, ODU kind of preferring to get some point percentage there by flipping it instead of taking maybe a different fight towards George Mason. So GMU is going to have probably better ult economy coming into this fight. Unfortunately, Matthew does not land. The Earth Shatter is inside of Sim's beams or turrets right now. The Immort keeps him up for a very long time. In fact, he's still up right now. Somehow, miraculously, does finally go down, and that bomb is going to pick up a lot of members of GMU. Unfortunately, it's just going to be Zappat and right on the point, but look who's just left for ODU, another D.Va. So somehow during that fight, they're able to get enough picks, despite the D.Va ult being quite huge for ODU. They do have to worry about the sim turrets that are still on the point. The Doomfist does pick up Zappat. Right's going to get quite low. He's going to stall on the point as Matthew joins a few members of his team here to try to contest in overtime. Fortunately, they are at disadvantage in this fight, but Right actually gets the mech kill, the mech call kill onto the Lucio on the other side. There's still very many members down, so they do not get that fight win. They lose the first map of, or the first round of Lijiang here.
Yeah, and it's like sort of an interesting scenario. It's kind of like the the concept of Roadhog, where whoever hooks first loses, because it seems like whichever Symmetra dies first loses there, because ODU is able to get that respawn and get back to point quicker with the teleporter than all the other teams. And though George Mason has 2 members to 1 left, sort of towards the middle of that fight, ODU is able to get back quicker and flip it, and then it's just staggering until it's over from George Mason. But pretty good showing overall. It was a close round, and we're going to get back into things here. Team compositions looking pretty close, mirrored on both sides. And going to be teleporting in again just to get to this point and fight as quick as possible. George Mason, Matthew running up, getting close, and another charge kill.
My
Matthew's
goodness.
Been on one tonight. Crazy with the charge
alpha
kills.
Rhine.
And that's going to secure an advantage in the point for George Mason to start off here.
Yeah, ODU is going to have to get forced out and respect GMU's member up. Unfortunately, the point is not unlocked yet, so they're able to get 6 strong. And it's going to be the Junkrat that's actually answered in dark right now as GMU pushes down the main hallway here. It's going to be the Immort coming out first for ODU. GMU has to commit theirs as well. They have to watch out for this TP that's going behind them. Matthew tries to read someone going through the TP. Unfortunately, no one does. The Sim's over there now, but Niner does pick that up. It's going to be the Shatter coming out from Matthew. It does connect. Unfortunately, he goes down as well. It's going to be Amform that has the window out. Both sides have it, but GMU is up in the numbers, and so Niner's going to get 2 picks for himself right there as they push to the end of the hallway with a Binks and right there. The rest of ODU does get out.
Matthew just taking over. Beautiful charge to start that fight and get GMU preferable position. And then a high IQ charge back into the Sim TP. Sim takes it just a second later, but if he got that pick there, it would have secured things. George Mason going to start things up again. Lots of ultimates popped here. Matthew going for another charge. Doesn't quite land, but the tire does. Niner gets 2 and destroys the Immort field. And then George Mason's just going to sweep after that. Really great play there.
Yep, there's not much more to say about that. GMU had 2 great ultimates. The Sim wall kind of protected the Junkrat tire as it went in, so GMU able to take advantage of that. Now they have this choke to hold. They do have to worry about the flux, but it's mirrored on both sides. Unfortunately, no beat is available for George Mason like it is ODU, which they are going to commit here. GMU getting quite low, but they have the Immort to at least sustain the initial drop on the flux. They have the TP to try to mix things up. He gets the charge on Reinhardt, who gets quite low. Unfortunately, they are able to keep the Reinhardt alive in this fight, so GMU looking for multiple angles to spam here as Junkrat and Wright are still alive. It's going to be Zaphat that's going to throw out the beat here. Amform does have the window as well, which he's looking to commit. Unfortunately, Junkrat does answer that and forces him to rotate, but it's going to be Sim that's caught on the side of ODU that was in White Room as GMU rotated through that. The point is still on ODU's favor, so GMU staggering, need to make a decision right now to stop this fight or just back out and spam, which it looks like they're finally doing now.
And George Mason coming really close there to actually sustaining that fight with the beat they have. They get a couple picks, but ODU is able to find some as well, and they just stall out. And George Mason, I think, making a unfortunate but the right decision to back out and regroup here and give it one more go. Only ultimate online right now. As I say that, another one comes up. Both of them are on the side of ODU, though. They might look to commit this Gravitic Flux as George Mason comes into the point here. They're going to pop the window first to break down the shields, but a flank Shatter comes in. Doesn't hit, though, for ODU. And George Mason going to survive for a bit longer here. Just stalling, looking for the right point. ODU commits 2 ultimates. Maybe George Mason's going to be content with that. Fall back and get some more of their own and look for the second push here. They do have the Earth Shatter and the Riptire coming up, as well as a Binks who already has the Symmetra ultimate.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good going into this next fight. GMU trying to take space here now. Matthew's pushing in. Unfortunately, he has to worry a little bit about the Sim turrets. He's looking for a Shatter. Of course, the Reinhardt has his shield up. He might combo out of this Flux, but the other Flux is thrown out to match. It's going to be Niner with the tire, though. This is last fight, so it's now or never. He gets 2. Wright is still alive, trying to take out the Junkrat on the other side. Unfortunately, he's getting quite low as ODU push into him. Niner is doing his best to make this fight winnable for GMU, but there's just no one left. Unfortunately, Matthew, I don't believe, will get a touch, and that means no sweep tonight for GMU, but the undefeated regular season is still a potential. They're going to have to win 3 maps tonight. It's a best of 5. ODU, of course, going up 1 map in the series, winning Lijiang 2-0. It's going to be Zappat that gets the play of the game here. I'm sure it's some boop off the map. Get a bit of a Lucio diff there. Another off the sim. Well played, well played.
Yeah, and George Mason coming close here, but despite some good plays, it just looks like they didn't get as much value out of some of the ultimates that they popped there that they needed to be able to turn the fight. Legendary going to come up. Lots of sportsmanship.
Lots of votes for the BAP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say tonight, UMN was probably going to be the tougher opponent out of the two, but ODU is looking quite strong. Of course, they have Early Bird, which is an alumni of George Mason, kind of helping them out because I think his brother is on that team. So, yeah, I'm sure he knows some of the strats, tendencies of some of the players of GMU that ODU is probably prepared for. This is, of course, the one of the most important matches for ODU. Unfortunately, I think only one team per group gets to go to playoffs. So I don't even know if ODU has a has a playoff chance, unfortunately, because of the way CSL is. Yeah, just they're playing for keeps.
Mm-hmm. Bragging rights on the line.
Absolutely. There's going to be future tournaments coming up, especially the Mace League, which includes ODU, Shenandoah, and GMU, which are probably the top teams in that league. ODU is definitely looking to get in a good match tonight against GMU to better their odds at winning the Mace tournament, if not the NACE one, CSL. Looks like we're going to go over to Kings Row for the next map.
Maybe some good news for George Mason on that front. Kings Row, they had obviously the match that you and me casted over earlier. They had a pretty good showing on Kings Row, of course playing up against a different team, but we saw some good things, and maybe they're going to look to replicate that success going forward into this next map.
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of how strong ODU's macro is in comparison to GMU. So far, it's been looking good enough. I'm sure we'll... Actually, I was going to say I'm sure we'll see Brawl coming into Kings Row, but I don't actually know how confident I am about that. GMU has multiple strategies they can pull out on Kings Row, and I'm wondering if they're going to mix it up this soon against ODU, who's probably expecting a Brawl. We'll have to see.
Yeah, Brawl, at least from what I see, seeming to be the standard comp there, so at least I think it's safe to say we can expect that to start, but if you have some insider knowledge, George Mason got more than might have seen so far. So, again, maybe just solidifies the point that this might be a good map for them. Obviously, going to hope to bring things back after that loss on Lijiang. You mentioned it's a best of 5. We're certain that this time. So
yes, absolutely certain. CSL
plenty
is best
more
of 5.
Overwatch to be played here.
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying myself on this Friday evening. This is, I guess, the best Overwatch we've seen this season since the Shenandoah match. I keep referencing that every stream, but it's not every day you see a reverse sweep. We've seen it. I've personally seen it on the team once before that night. So, of course, it's very exciting. I'll reminisce. I'll tell my grandkids of the story.
Yeah, exactly. The story will travel on by the word of mouth till the end of time.
Of course,
were you there? Do you remember when George Mason?
Remember? Where were you when George Mason got reverse sweep? I was at home when I got phone call. George Mason reverse sweep. Yes.
I was at home when I got Discord message.
Yeah. No one uses phone.
Hashtag GMU win.
Hashtag GMU. When I got message to a tweet from GMU Twitter. Oh my goodness. I've probably said it once tonight, but I'll probably say it again after every map. GMU is looking for their first undefeated regular season in GMU Overwatch history. If tonight they pull out the win, it will be the very first, never been done before. We've had a 4-1 season in fall 2016. We've had a I think 7-1, something really close. In our first season we had the loss against University of Delaware. I believe we had wins from there on out.
I still remember Realms Reaper
Yeah.
on Hanamura.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm not salty, I promise.
Oh, absolutely not.
But yeah,
And then-
definitely. Hey, I'm looking for it here. I want them to get it. Hopefully they can come through here.
I think all the other seasons have been about 7-3. Of course, ABC switched to that format where they play 2 matches a week, and there's always been a week we were 5-1, and then we lose a couple other matches along the way. We always end the season 7-3 so far. So ABC is not the league for GMU to go undefeated in unless you are the best team, because I think it's only ISU Redbirds that's undefeated. Or at least that will be the case after tonight. I don't know if Northwood is still undefeated. But now we are moving into Kings Row.
George Mason, if I'm reading this correctly, is going to be starting on defense. So let's see.
That does appear to be the case.
Making sure I got my colors right.
Yeah,
Blue.
The blue is the defense always and forever. Until they switch sides.
Yes. That's. But from what we saw earlier,
of the time it's correct all the time.
Yeah, right. George Mason is going to end up running this sort of semi-brawlish comp. There's a couple interesting picks coming out from ODU though. I haven't seen the Zarya or the Doom.
I don't know if they're planning on keeping that, but honestly they could. Makes some sense. The Doom and the Reinhardt and the Lucia are trying to run in to make space. They got the Zarya bubble to sustain it. Of course, the Doom gets a punch while Hanzo's looking for picks. So GMU is looking to play fast into this composition, much faster than ODU. Doesn't mean they won't give them some space here. They could back up if they're not looking to get spammed. So they're playing off the clock tower now, further back onto the point. And now this may be better for GMU. They're just looking to speed in at the right time. They're not looking to really spam. Doom is actually waiting in an interesting spot right now. Not on this side of the choke. He's still on the offensive spawn.
Yeah,
so
it's
now,
sort of reminiscent of the Sureforce strat where they force George Mason to a position and get the Widow pick, but doesn't end up working the same way.
Absolutely
that
not.
legendary Overwatch League play did. Nine are gonna take a couple kills here, and whatever strategy ODU had is gonna have to be reformulated as they get sent back to their spawn.
Yep, no members of GMU even dropping here, so that is a quick sweep. GMU responding correctly to this play. They're looking to just go in fast, as I said, and when the opportunity presents itself, because ODU would have won the long fight there with the Hanzo. They do scout that Doom just in time and are able to survive it and actually pick it. Great pick from Niner there. Now their composition has switched a little bit. They actually have the Reaper now, so no Maywall is available on the side of ODU. They're going to get that Reinhardt on their side of the Maywall, so GMU is at a big advantage in this fight. It's going to be a Binks. It's going to be picking the Hanzo as well during that fight, so the spam element of ODU not shining as well. GMU answering all the cards in ODU's hands so far.
Yeah, and ODU started out with that Zarya, but they've switched away with it, so I don't really know how much value they're going to be able to get out of the Dragon from Hanzo here. They do have it up. George Mason going to pop the Blizzard here. Going to freeze multiple members, and looks like this one's going to be ODU going back to spawn again. Just a quick one ultimate invested. Pretty good job.
Yeah, if Blizzard connects, it connects, and that's going to be a fight win. I don't know if he froze the D.Va beforehand or how he was able to get it off, but regardless, he was able to. Now they have Niner on the flank here. It's a close one. He's not really looking for a high noon play, but just a flash, and now GMU is going to push in hard off of that. You've got the Fan of the Hammer, and BAP is actually caught out in that fight, so that works out quite well for GMU. They had the beat to sustain to keep him up if that fight did go sour. The Shatter, trying to predict the shield drop, does not connect, so Matthew does not have that ultimate, but GMU definitely going to win this fight. They're trying to get a little bit more advantage. Try to demech that D.Va, but doesn't quite fall through. But again, 2 ults committed, another fight win for GMU.
Yeah, and it might have looked a bit weird, but I did like the sound barrier that came out of Zappat. The Reaper from ODU got a close flank and was right on Niner's tail, and that keeps him alive and makes sure that the fight wins. Both windows going to get popped up here. Matthew's playing in front of it. Going to get Earthshattered. Niner with a huge high noon up on the high ground, takes out 3, and any concept of ODU being able to win that fight was swiftly taken away by the Cassidy in the back line.
Yeah, you do have to watch out for that, obviously. In this composition, it's a little bit on both the Lucio and the D.Va to scout, hey, wait a minute, there are only 5 members on the point. There's one of them missing, and typically it's going to be the Kree, so unfortunately they don't track the high noons available and really answer that play. Of course, Binks is going to have another Blizzard, which does connect. Of course, there's a lot of corners here. No chance for D.Va to eat it. It's the bomb that is going to pick up 2 on the side of ODU. GMU looking to win this last fight here. They haven't lost any members. Right does get D-Mech, but it's going to be Matthew that has an Earthshatter as an extra ult that's available. They're going to try to contest with the ball and the D.Va. The main wall stops the ball from touching, so D.Va has to touch, gets D-Mech. Now ball is struggling to get the touch here. Matthew does find a good opportunity to get an Earthshatter on a high-value target on the side of ODU, and just like that, with a little bit staggering left, I'm looking at my wristwatch here. Any moment now, GMU is going to get a full hold on Kings Row once that May goes down. There it is.
Wow. Really great job from George Mason. Couple of key plays there, just taking any sort of chance ODU had away. Really great job. I almost thought that May wall there at the end was going to take it themselves, but D.Va able to fly over that. Great reactions from a Binks to put that one up. But obviously the plays came much earlier than that. A really good Blizzard there in Hotel mixed with right in your faces D.Va bomb, and there's nowhere that they can go there. Too narrow of a choke. And George Mason, like you said, going to full hold. Definitely looking strong after that last map, coming back fighting and looking to equalize the scoreline here 1-1.
Yeah, ODU was looking for kind of a mix-up against GMU coming out on that Doomfist and the Zarya. Of course, they had to swap after that and lose a lot of ult charge, which GMU has been really on top of ult rotating tonight. And ODU has paid the price for that offense. It looks like a pause will be coming out. We have a DC from right, which is not the most surprising. He's had this happen many times before. I think if anyone was going to DC, it was probably going to be him. So it looks like he's going to be restarting his game. Do you see anything in chat? I have chat hidden.
Just Zapat calling for the pause and tech issues. Nothing too spicy there. I got no drama for you. Unfortunate.
All right. Well, the rest of the members with bad internet at GMU are now playing in the practice room, which GMU has provided for the esports. We have a small room that has how many computers? I think it has like a 10-ish computers in there. I think one of them is being used for Smash casting right now. We have our Overwatch manager, Hussein, in that room. Pretty sure is with one other person. But it's going to be Zapat and the Binks that are playing there now. Let me dox their location for you real quick. Not telling you where on campus they are, so it doesn't count. As it turns out, GMU players play on GMU campus.
Fortunately, the R is going to come out in the chat, and looks like we might just have a quick pause there. Going to head right back into things here.
Excellent, excellent. So it will be a mirror match on both sides. GMU, as half predicted by me, are not pulling out anything fancy here. This composition is what they played against UMN. They're warm on it. They are bringing the Hanzo, which is what they started with against UMN. I think they kept it the whole time. And honestly, I really like the pick because it's honestly just easier to run on the offense. You can get a lot of value. Of course, ODU actually, I think, started with it as well. I forget if they swapped to the Kree eventually. But GMU looking to get value off of that Hanzo. They can play a little bit slower, which on offense, you just have the time to do. You don't have to go and touch the point, but GMU is looking to kind of bait ODU to get close to them. They have to immort right here, but now they're using this choke that is meant for second point as a threat to ODU not to push them. Matthew getting a little bit aggressive. He's charging with low health. He is going to go down, and they're fighting in an area where IXR doesn't quite have LOS yet, so GMU is going to go down in that fight. A little bit of an awkward one, to be honest. They are going to get one pick on the Cree, or the Cassidy, rather. But it's definitely going to be ODU's fight win.
Yeah, the Cassidy getting the flashbang over top of Matthew's shield and just gets bursted so quick. They have to force the Immort shield, and they never really recover from that big burst and cooldown being burnt. Niner trying to get a little cheeky with the Widowmaker there, but switches back to the Hanzo again, and we're going to be going for the contest on point here. Wall goes up. Matthew's going in, swinging both Immort shields or Vitality fields being burnt. The window goes up, but it's not really in a place for anyone but the Baptiste.
Yeah, it's a little high.
Use it. GMU going to answer with their own Immortality, or their own window,
blizzard,
and
though.
the Blizzard. Really great. Going to grab 2 members, and that's just going to assure that the point gets taken.
So GMU responding quite quickly to the ODU 2-0 Koth win with a full hold on Kings Row. So absolutely well played from GMU. It's going to be Niner on the Cassidy that's going to get the play of the game. I know exactly what it's going to be, this flank high noon where he was on the high ground. ODU tries to push in. Diva nowhere nearby to answer this. Does notice it at the last second, but the last second after it has occurred. I guess a second too late is what I was trying to say, rather.
Yeah, maybe a bit blocked off by the May wall.
By the May
there,
wall,
but...
yep. So GMU is going to move and tie this series in a 1-1. It's going to be ODU's map pick next. Of course, don't go anywhere. We're going to continue this Overwatch.
It's all tied up.
Oh, yeah. This Overwatch thickness.
All right.
All right. Yeah, but it's gonna be ODU's map pick, and I don't know where they're gonna go. I think they want to play Doom. I think they want.
Said Gibraltar. That's what they've called for.
So they're not going Doom.
It's like they're also swapping some players here on the side of ODU. That is.
Yeah, they do have.
I see them. They swapped a player between the first and second map as well. So maybe some specialists coming in for specific heroes that they have.
Is that the Doomfist player? He's got the Doomfist icon.
So, but I'm not certain.
Aristos has been a player that's been around for a little while for ODU. I think ever since the first game Mason many years ago. I think that was spring of 2018. Or 2019, spring of 2019. He's at least been around. So this team has some history. GMU has been the stronger of the two as far as present. ODU looking to obviously change that tonight to make a name for themselves as potentially the best Virginia school. I think they'd need to get one more win in order to prove that even if they beat GMU tonight, they did lose against Shenandoah, which is a team GMU has beat twice now. Once. They only beat Shenandoah once. You have no idea what I'm talking about, and neither does chat. Don't worry your little heads.
All right.
Definitely
no leaks here.
Cut the bot.
Running fine.
Yeah, absolutely no leaks.
Just hanging out real quick while ODU gets their production good. And going to Gibraltar, do you have any, speaking of leaks, do you have any intel for me on what kind of team compositions we might be seeing here out of George Mason?
It's probably going to be a Monkey Diva, Echo, Brigzen. I don't know what the last DPS will be. I think
I know. I've seen Niner privy to some Widowmaker now and
then. So I don't know if he's feeling himself.
I'm hoping it might happen, but
Widowmaker is unfortunately not in the best spot right now. I think her placement as far as maps that work are Junkertown. That's about it. You could maybe play some of it on an offense of Rialto. Unfortunately, Gibraltar doesn't really allow itself for that. Teams are able to play around that enough that it's hard to get value. It is hard to get value.
Yeah, I know before Junkertown was even a map, this was like the one Widowmaker WAP. Yeah, but maybe it's waned in the meantime. There's also...
unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I know. It's scan player. I have my bias. I always love to see some Widowmaker. You would have caught me spectating whoever plays Widowmaker almost the entire time on this map.
I've definitely seen my fair share of Widow on this map. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see it tonight. There it is. Oh, Tracer, of course.
Yeah.
Get on the Tracer with the Echo. And ODU is going to run a very similar comp. They're going to keep the Zarya, though. So what traditionally was a meta for a little bit of time was the double bubble, in which you'd just throw your Winston in with a Zarya bubble on it. It was very awkward because Zarya doesn't feel right in this composition, but she's there for two reasons. One, the ultimate's really strong, and double bubble has a lot of strong ultimates in it. And she's there for peel and get in charge of the bubbles. Eventually, you force a brawl with the Brig and the Zarya. But here we see GMU using the D.Va, which is much more traditional nowadays. That D.Va's just able to provide a little bit more value. Everywhere Zarya used to be, now you just see a D.Va and brawl. Zarya used to be very, very prominent. Now, of course, we saw D.Vas on both sides on King's Row. So now they have to play this special dance where a monkey jumps on the high ground and they spam it a little bit and it falls back down while they push the cart. No members going down on either side, but Niner's looking to get aggressive, does get the Tracer pick, is trying to get this Echo who's floating around in all sorts of fashion. They're not able to get that, unfortunately, so ODU is going to get that pick onto Niner. GMU still holding this high ground, though. No cart push currently for ODU. They'll have to do that at some point. It's going to be a Binks trying to get a lot of spam damage off in the meantime. They are going to put that Tracer on the cart to push, but a Binks goes down. Matthew now trying to hold this blue box will be forced to give it up unless Niner is able to get enough value. He's jumping back and forth on there. Matthew finally forced out. Blue box is now in control for ODU, which is a quite strong position. And Zarya has high charge. They really have to watch out in these next coming fights what ODU will push forward with.
Yeah, it looks like the fight's going to be taken to the server room next here. Binks going to find the ODU Tracer, maybe out of a position there on the flank, and you're going to carry on, regroup into the server room, and look to take the fight to ODU here. Just waiting to get into the perfect position to pinch them in here. Matthew going to jump in. The Primal Rage is popped from ODU, going to be knocking everybody around, making things a little bit more confusing. Nobody's going down yet, but the cart's not getting pushed until I say that. ODU's Tracer is going to give it a little bit of push, but on the backside, George Mason going to find two picks, both of the supports for ODU, so now it's only a matter of time until they fall. That one mega in server room is not enough to sustain the entire team, so they're going to have to take it back to spawn and regroup here.
Yeah, ODU not able to get enough value off of the Primal. They have the Zarya, which works better in prolonged fights, but unfortunately I don't think she was there the whole time. Did fall down or got forced out by GMU, so they were able to hold that point, and now a lot of ultimates are available on both sides. This is going to be a very explosive fight coming out on both sides. It looks like Niner is going to commit that pulse bomb first, but does not connect. GMU on the peel from this Nano Winston. They're going to throw out the Brig, the rally ult, to sustain the backline. Unfortunately, Matthew getting quite low in the front to try to make space for his team is finally able to get healed as the purple falls off of him, the biotic nade, there's the word for it. Now they have to watch out for the grab. Right almost eats it, but does not. Now GMU are still alive in this fight, right? So now, even though they were running low on resources, their cooldowns are coming back up, and now they're able to take a much faster fight. It's going to be a Binks with the copy on Zarya. Actually gets the grab available and does connect on the Winston, so GMU looking to close that kill, and they're able to hold this point right next to where it gets capped.
Yeah, right. Not able to eat the Graviton Surge there, but with Anform and Zappat on top of the grab as well, just popping the Bionade and healing as much as they can. They don't take any damage, and they're able to get out of that alive, and then Right immediately sort of fixes everything by throwing up the bomb in the air and taking down the Zarya, who was high charge at the time, and able to swing the fight back in George Mason's favor. Pulse Bomb comes out, though, from ODU and finds Anform in the backline. That's going to be pretty huge. A lot of George Mason healing taken away before the fight even starts. They're going to pop the rally. Zappat's going to take it to the point. See if they can contest here. D.Va going to get demeched, though. Nice bomb. Niner answers what happened previously from ODU. Going to bomb
but a C9.
The Ana in the back line, but the C9 does occur. And despite the fight starting fairly well for George Mason, or other than the initial loss of their Ana, they are going to have to give it up after that. No point in playing so far up if the spawns are going to come far back. Resetting after all is said and done.
That was the deception that GMU performed on you. It actually did look like they had a great start to that fight because they realized as soon as their Ana goes down that they can't really play a long fight. They're going to throw out that rally really quick and force a brawl. And they start to turn the fight in their favor, but unfortunately they do end up losing to the C9 fight that was potentially winnable. Anyway, they're going to throw out the Nano quick here. Matthew is going to get slept, and so now they just have to contest the cart. They did get a pick off of that before he did get slept, so it's the brig down on the side of ODU. GMU is going to force back ODU, which is a perfectly fine fight as long as they don't lose any other members here. Matthew getting quite low. Unfortunately, he does go down. GMU was really looking for ODU to reset outside of the hangar doors here on second point because it's so hard to push back into this point, which is the outcome they're hoping of these fights. They don't really care what happens to ult economy or anything else. They just really want ODU out of this room, right? Maybe looking to throw the bomb, of course, does. Unfortunately, Niner does get slept. GMU now have to worry about these doors to get into the point here. It's going to be the only the main tank going down for ODU, right? Is even opting not to stall that point. He's going to jump off the map to not give ult charge to ODU. Unfortunately, they will not hold that second point.
Yeah, and just a lot of kills that weren't able to be finished there from George Mason. They get ODU sort of falling back, and they maybe overextend a little bit trying to get some of those picks to reset, but ODU able to hold strong and turn things around there. But as ODU pushes up here to sort of send George Mason back to their spawn, they're going to lose a couple members, and it's going to end up turning around, and they're going to be going back to their spawn here. George Mason able to push them back here. Do have a lot of ultimates up. I say a lot, but about half of them. But some pretty high impact ones. On the other side, ODU has the Grav and the Rally coming up, as well as the Pulse Bomb here shortly, so they might look to combine those two, maybe get a big Grav here.
Yeah, they do have to worry about this Grav coming in. He's pushing forward, but the D.Va, right, is there to answer or at least threaten the eat on the Grav, so they don't throw it out. He does actually get the eat onto the Pulse Bomb, so GMU is looking pretty good so far in this fight. Of course, Binks with the copy on the Winston is able to do a number to the backline of ODU. Even if he doesn't really get picks himself, just displacing them, pushing members back to George Mason, he is able to close a kill after that Winston ult with the beam on the brig.
Yeah, and it definitely looked like ODU's plan there was to use that Grav, but George Mason playing really well, recognized the fact that that Graviton surge is up, and they're playing very spread here, making sure that there's not a very big ultimate, but the Zarya from ODU stayed high charge after that last fight and was able to assist the Echo in taking out a Binks early. A couple of return picks from George Mason. They're not going down without a fight yet, and that's a big bomb from right. Going to take out two and basically make certain that George Mason is going to take this fight here. Niner having a little 1v1 in the back line here.
Might win it. Does not.
Might
gives
win
up
it.
on
It's
it.
close.
But Binks in that meantime
Binks.
does get his dub on his 1v1. It was funny. Zappat actually got a boop on the Ana to make that right bomb a double kill. She was hiding behind some coverage, and then the whip shot knocked her back to the bomb range. So that was quite funny to watch. Anyway, going to this next fight, ODU has a strict ult advantage. They're going to be looking to nano that Winston, but Zap stuffs it. So now they enter only with the copy on the Winston that they have to worry about. If they sustain it so far, then the ults won't be as threatening when they're no longer stacked. Of course, the nano does come out for ODU, but GMU responds by sticking the Ana, so Niner trying to close 2 kills. It's just the Brig is the last support. Unfortunately, the Inspire healing is a little bit too much for him alone as he's forced out and may die before picking up the Mega. Unfortunately, GMU may not get a contest here. It was just right, but he did not have his mech, so ODU is going to win that fight.
Yeah, it does eventually just come down to the overtime, though, so not the end of the world. But yeah, the support's going down there early for George Mason. Just always difficult without any healing to sustain a fight like that. And despite their best effort and a return pick onto the Ana from ODU, it's not enough, and we're going to be switching sides here.
Yeah, GMU started out pretty confident on the hold. They won a lot of fights, but unfortunately second point was a little bit more of a roll. And ODU definitely played the third point very well. It looked like there wasn't really like a lot of high ground to answer, right? Anna was playing low. There's a Binks in the air, and they have a Tracer, but it wasn't the composition we saw last GMU play on Gibraltar, where I think it was a match where instead of having Niner in, we had a substitute 2-0 playing the Soldier. He was locking the legs on Gibraltar.
Gotcha.
And of course, the high grounds went uncontested on a third point, and surprise, surprise, GMU gets a hold and wins that map against, I forget what team that was. That was earlier this week. The name escapes me, but they got the dub.
Yeah,
oh, it was, I think it should have been a VWU? Because that was the last thing I had on the stream.
Virginia Wesleyan? Maybe.
Maybe. That might have been it. Anyway, GMU starting out here with the TP to get Amform over to the other high ground with the Brig as well.
Torbjorn on the side of...
Yeah, the Torb and in the legs as well, Soldier. But GMU looking to spam from below. It's going to be Niner that's going to be pushing the point until he gets right-clicked by the Soldier and quickly tapped down. So unfortunately, GMU not able to push the cart as much as they want. Binks has to be a little bit careful here. He's getting a little bit of sights, trying to get a little bit of spam. Of course, his spam is not going to be better than what ODU has right now. The swap over to Somber comes out for point, though. Now GMU just has to play this game where they build up their nano, hopefully faster than ODU does, because picks are unlikely at this stage of the fight. As you can see, it's going to be a lot of damage trading. People are going to live just fine. Matthew just wants to get this cart pushing to a more advantageous location where if they do win a fight, then the pressure to cap the point becomes a possibility. They are going to force a little bit of a brawl down here, but neither team fully committing. They're using their cooldowns to get out. It's going to be the big Bionade that does connect them to members of GMU, so they're forced to stop their aggression right now. But now GMU is getting into at least a little bit better of a position to take a more aggressive fight. Of course, the ults are coming up online now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be on right here with the Visor and the Nano coming up. Ooh, Niner gets a hack off in the back. And Matthew's going to get nanoed here. Just some early picks here. Things are going to sort of stall out. Right, going to take down the Winston from ODU, and it looks like George Mason's going to be able to take this one. Matthew jumping up onto the high ground just to contest that Torb turret. A Bink's going to jump up as well. They're just one by one jumping up, taking turns, contesting the high ground here, and eventually it's going to work out in their favor. Niner finds the Diva. A Molten Core coming out from ODU to try and stall the point. The Bink's able to sort of naggle their way around that. And similar to what we saw from George Mason, ODU going to commit some ultimates here to stall the point, but the objective's already been captured. George Mason going to be spawned much closer than they would if they had stalled them a moment before, and going to be happy with that take right there.
Yeah, unfortunately,
a Binks on here.
Yeah, a Binks does go down there, but they're trying to get a position on the second point. They do not want to get caught trying to get through the doors, so they're getting a little bit aggressive for positioning. Of course, Matthew and Wright moving a little bit up. Matthew's even going to commit the Primal to clear this high ground early so he doesn't take too much spam damage. He's regrouping with his team over on the right side. They have the EMP available. Niner's looking to pull the trigger any second now. He's trying to get in a good position where he doesn't get found. He is going to finally pull out that EMP, and it's pretty massive. They have to try to take down this Brig before she's rallied, and another consecutive hack will land on that. But unfortunately, the Anna is there too, so they are able to sustain that dive from GMU, and they are going to get the rally out. Amform is going to commit that Nano onto Matthew to try to take down these members inside the rally, but the healing and the Inspire in the rally is just too strong for GMU to deal with. And unfortunately, now they're going to have to regroup and recontest second point through the doors, which is not what you want to see on the second point of Gibraltar.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Niner got a great EMP there, even got it onto the Diva on high ground, wasn't able to remech. But ODU able to sort of bottle up inside of that tunnel and negate George Mason's ability to take advantage of the EMP. It was a good look, just unfortunate that it doesn't work out the way they wanted it to. And all the ultimates that George Mason had sort of, I would say, dwindle away, but they've actually managed to recover them in the meantime. Matthew almost has Primal Rage again, and the Binks coming up on that duplicate. Wright has the bomb as well. Nano Visor on the side of ODU once again going to be on right to contest that. Matthew going to jump up early to pressure the soldier. Bio lands onto ODU's Anna. They could go down here. Right going to get a pick on that soldier. Good job from there, taking out the nano visor before it even goes down. Matthew going to pop Primal Rage, get 2 in the back line. Inform Bio from downtown, going to take out ODU's Brigitte. And it's going to end up being George Mason's team fight here, continuing on into the high ground.
ODU is going to get a chance at a recontest, of course. They have the visor, and Diva's there in the pocket in the bottom right. It's going to be Diva that needs to touch, unless they're looking to C9. They do avoid that defeat on second point, but GMU is already getting 2 picks in the fight, both DPS down on the side of ODU. Matthew has the nano, and even though the sustain is high on a Brig and an Anna, they do force that Anna out and actually get the pick on Brig. A Binks closing the kill on Anna as well. They just have to worry about this primaling Winston on the point, right? Does have to think about this soldier on the side. It does get forced out though, and GMU is going to get that second point take with a great initial engage from Matthew early that went to the primal, opened up a lot of space, and GMU was able to eventually win that very long and drawn out fight.
Matthew gets napped there and gets a rocket to the face. Sweet Dreams immediately gets rezzed though. Just a bit of a funny interaction there. And we'll be taking a position here. Matthew sort of trying to scout out where the DPS are from ODU. Finds them. Maybe not expecting it, but they're going to commit here. Visor is popped, but it's in an awkward position. ODU might not be able to take advantage of it. Yep. Matthew's going to pop the primal and take him down. The Binks is going to get to the Torbjorn as well. Both DPS down for ODU, as George Mason's going to regroup onto the point and start to get things pushing here, knowing that ODU can't take the fight any longer. Diva going to be demech'd and promptly taken down, and George Mason's going to take themselves to the spawn here, see what they can get. Nanobu's going to come out from ODU's Anna onto the Monkey, just trying to zone George Mason off of the cart, and a Binks gets found in the back line. Nano Monkey also going to happen for the side of George Mason, but with a numbers not in their favor, they're just going to sort of stall out here. Look to regroup and maybe take another fight after this one. But ODU's not going to let them. They're going to push the advantage here and see if they can get George Mason to lose any more members. Contest going to come out here with the Dragon Blade. Nider's immediately going to get 1, and Matthew's going to get the low health members out of the way as well. Really good patience from George Mason there, able to sustain that numbers disadvantage that they had and re-engage and take down ODU.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zappat does get down, so there's a little bit of chance of a recontest here. Binks is trying to use his primal to knock them back to the spawn, but Wright has the bomb, and Doomfist gets caught in that. The primal Winston is going to take a little bit of a while to take out, but the Nano Winston does come out on the side of GMU. He's looking to close the kill on the DPS with the help of Wright, his tank duo. Now he's going to throw out the primal to try to get ODU off the point. Unfortunately, he does get slept here, but GMU does have the numbers advantage despite ODU having the spawn advantage there. It's going to be members falling left and right for ODU. GMU is looking to take this point with a little bit of time. Unfortunately, it's not over a minute, so ODU... Actually, no matter what time is left, ODU does get another push because that is escort. I was hoping that they'd go for the Nano Blade, but in that last fight where ODU started to push GMU in what looked like downtime of the fight, the Nano was committed onto Winston. They were trying to close some kills, so we couldn't Nano Blade. It was very unfortunate. I was really hoping to see some Nano Blade.
Yeah, Niner gets the damage but doesn't get any of the kill credit, right? Matthew gonna pick up 3 in that last fight, so Niner going in with the blade gets the first and does a lot of damage to the others, but you know, it's not the flashy Genji play that most DPS would dream of, but it's what wins them the fight, so either way, you're going to be happy with that.
For sure. So GMU are looking to play still the same comp on defense here. They still have Niner on the Genji and a Binks on the Echo there. They're I'm wondering why they decided to do this. I think the comp they played on defense worked perfectly fine. And they know what ODU is going to be running, so I'm wondering why this is the way it is. But we'll see how it works. Yeah, it's gonna be a Binks.
Mercy is looking good with the.
Yeah, it's a good pocket for the Echo for sure.
Sort of. Just maybe trying to play sort of more of a split flight.
Genji isn't going to be able to do too much from this high ground until they jump up. So GMU has to play a little bit of a slower fight. To try to kind of like
early, and Echo taking on as well.
Yeah, they're kind of playing to actually get ultimates, even though 1 minute isn't a lot of time. GMU is just looking to control this high ground, stall long enough. They don't really care if ODU pushes the cart significantly on first point, so long as it stays on first point. GMU is just hoping that on their offense they take the whole thing. As long as it's not past first point, it's definitely very winnable for GMU. And now here they're coming close to some ultimates, specifically the Nano, which will come out, and ODU is already playing a member down. It's the Tracer, and the Echo is now down, so no DPS available for ODU. They just have to contest this point long enough and sustain long enough and just live. But it's going to be a huge anti-nade from Anform that's going to connect and close the kill on the Brig. They're only losing Niner off the Genji, but GMU's still a lot of numbers strong. It's the Primal coming out as well as the Valk. They're throwing a bomb on the copy of a Binks. They just have all the ultimates available now. There's absolutely no way ODU is able to push this cart any further despite their stagger approach there at the end.
Niner just going in, putting down as much damage as he can. Does end up going down, but that's what you got the Mercy for, right? Gets rezzed towards the middle of that fight. And George Mason got a nice hold here. Definitely doable for them to get to just a little bit past, little overpass at the beginning of this first point.
Right, it is a best of 5, so regardless of the outcome of this map, there will be at least one more map after this one. So do not start packing up any of your stuff. I don't know what you do after a stream's done. Don't go anywhere.
Usually it's grab some water or refill on the snackies.
Yeah. Just remember, if you do that, to come back. We're still going to be here.
Yeah.
GMU is... actually, I can't speak on behalf of what happens after the sim play. I think they're going to go back to that Genji. They have a little bit more time on the clock, so GMU could still be playing for... I mean, that's just the way the comp's played. You have a Winston and an Ana. You build your Nano. And so both teams are kind of looking to do that. They have the Torb again, which is a little bit of an answer to Tracer. So we'll see how GMU responds. They're actually not opening with the Sim.
Yeah, they're going to maybe recall that the Torbjorn was up, and they're going to switch over to the Ashe here. Maybe try and take a long sight line against that turret. And not going to happen at this first point, though. The turret's in sort of a weird spot on this stairwell. Just going to be promptly taken down. And Mason going to do their preliminary check, clear that out, and prepare for the next fight here. Right, sneaking the cart down like Matthew did the last round.
Yeah, and a Binks is in a good spot right now because not a lot of hit scans available to take him out. His biggest threat is maybe an Ana. While
going down early there for ODU.
Yeah, that's pretty bad for ODU. Pretty great for GMU. Now they're pushing the advantage forward on the high ground. Looks like they're trying to take control of blue box. They have a lot of people positioned on the cart. ODU is actually forced to throw their Torb on it, but he does have that whatever his E is called. He gets antied though, Amform, making another big play. That's gonna be it. Yeah, GMU. I think without ultimates, we're able to take that push.
Yeah, just a really good job for them to all jump on that Winston as soon as he sort of jumps out of position, and also some good antics there at the end from both the Ana and the Ashe, landing a Bio and Dynamite. Here's the blade we're gonna see. Is not a nano blade, but sort of a damage boost blade. So maybe it had the same effect either way.
Yeah, close to the damage boost on a Mercy's 30%, while the Ana would have been a 50%.
Yeah, it's just a budget version, right?
Yeah, this is some Walmart nano blade coming out.
This is the best we got, guys.
We got nano blade at home. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It does get a lot of damage. The slash went through both tanks twice. And I forget how much damage a single slash from a blade is normally, but multiply that by 2 and then add 30%. That's how much damage came out per slash because it hit 2 targets.
Big old chunk.
Big old chunk out of the tanks.
Matthew gonna use his Winston electricity to just tickle them down and take all the credits, but
course. But that's why
Credit where it's due. The game knows it gives the play of the game to the Genji at the end.
Yeah, I was glad. It knew about that. Of course, damage is a calculation in the play of the game. If you get a lot of damage, that is a factor. So good on the devs. Good play of the game algorithm there.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like the last map will be Temple of Anubis. Let me go to GMU's score right here. Now we're moving up one in the series. This is going to be do or die for ODU if they want to prove themselves as the superior Virginia team. But currently GMU is looking in the lead of that. Of course, they've beaten Shenandoah. They've played other schools in MAEC, the top 3 teams. I think I said earlier. Does look like it's GMU, ODU, and Shenandoah out of Virginia. JMU has made a contention at that in the past. They are not there currently. I don't think they are fielding a team in any of those leagues right now. So it's really just GMU is the superior Virginia team once again.
Yes, all is as I would like if that's the case.
Yeah, we can say that was true for every season, I think, except for spring. The arguments could be made for whether you consider full-time players part of the team or not, because the original TESPA League did not allow one of JMU's players, so GMU was technically the best school in spring of 2018, but that following semester in most leagues, the Beltway Battles, I think it was 2 back-to-back Game Masons. No, just 1. So there's 2 semesters. The only 2 semesters GMU was technically not the best school in Virginia was when James Madison had their players available to play in some leagues despite having part-time students. And that was it. The spring of 2019 and fall of 2020. I think were the 2. Of course,
right.
there's teams that have had great credit in Virginia history. Shenandoah, of course, making a name for themselves this semester, making leaps and bounds from their original Game Mason performance in that spring of 2019 season, where I believe they were the last seed in that tournament of Virginia teams. Now they are very close to being the first. We will find out Saturday tomorrow. Shenandoah will be looking to take their pride back against GMU. I forget what time the stream is, but that'll be streamed on the official MAEC stream. I hate letters, Mace. I don't know what time. You have to pay attention to Twitter. Sorry, I don't know everything.
Yeah, just knows what he knows.
I just know what I know. All right, it's going to be Temple of Anubis.
Everyone loves this map.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of like it.
Of the, I joke, but actually of the 2 CP ones, this is probably the ones I like more.
Did you say of the 2 CP?
Isn't that what it is?
Oh, I thought you were saying like there are 2 of this kind of map. Of the 2 capture point maps.
Or 2 control points, yeah.
Of the... Yes, of the 2 CP. I see what you're saying now. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, maybe just like a little TF2 brain moment, counting by the control points instead of the Overwatch name of assault, but nah, man.
ADHD moment. When you mentioned TF2, that reminded me. UGC, which is, I believe, the premier league for TF2 play, also runs an Overwatch league. Of course, is one of the biggest amateur Overwatch kind of like tournaments that you can participate in with a regular season. They are running their first collegiate ever that GMU will be participating in, so that'll be interesting to watch. This will be the first season we've participated in 4 leagues at once, so all of our players, of course, now have no free time. Overwatch is their life. but they're still staying on top of their academics, as there's a GPA they need to maintain in order to play on the CSL team. So good on them.
Very good.
This high ground tries to get contested by the Tracer on ODU, but Niner, not having any of that, does take it down. Amform getting a pick for himself. The last final blow onto the Winston. Now the Echo trying to contest this Ashe. Doesn't learn from his Tracer's outcome, but now it's going to be a stagger on this Ana. It's trying to take out Amform. Niner says, okay, that's quite enough there. He's going to get that pick as well. And now that's a minute off the clock for ODU's offense.
Niner is not to be messed with on this high ground. Throw whatever you want at him. He's going to send you backpack into your spawn. Matthew got a kind of funny shield set up here, like a little dome. It's half a Winston bubble facing forward and backward. Actually, now that I think about it more, it makes sense.
Right, when they push the right side.
Right side, they can have full coverage there. I might have to adapt that if I ever have to play Orisa in my solo queue games.
I'll remind you.
Thank you.
We'll duo after this.
We'll VOD review.
We'll VOD review.
Wait, are you going to force me into playing Orisa?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Why would I do that?
Mike here decides against it. Rotate back.
It's going to be a Binks that goes down first. The Bongo landing on the low ground. That's actually quite safer there now. ODU would have to peek their little heads over the edge. GMU trying to hold on to this point. The Primal Winston is a big health pool to deal with. Unfortunately, now they're forced into one spot, which is exactly what this team composition that ODU is running is hoping GMU gets forced into, and they have multiple characters that cleave and do AoE damage. They are going to take that point.
Yeah, just a shame for George Mason going down there, losing one member as all of their ultimates are just about to come up. Blade is up. Niner was getting close to that Bob, but not to be. ODU going to take that first point and looking to head on into the next attack on Anubis. Blade is popped.
He's going early, and he's going in not at all. It's a zoning Blade. Buys time for GMU to set up, of course. No other reason.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe a Binks was popping that Blade to look for a switch, but going to keep on here. Of course, there's no downtime after that. They hear the Blade, and ODU respects it, so on defense at least, time bought. It's not like it's an offensive waste, and they have plenty of ultimates to fall back on here at the moment. Bob's still out. A Binks going to dive in and gets picked off. That's the go symbol for ODU. They're going to jump in with the nanoed monkey. ODU not going to get much out of this monkey, though. Things are stalling out. Bob's contesting the point for George Mason. First tick's going to be taken, and Grab comes in and gets 3 from ODU. Not going to go down, though, but it's going to keep them off the point. Gets them close. Window's going to be popped in for him, looking to take things into his own hands, but goes down. It's just the stall squad out for George Mason now. Tracer, the Brigitte, and the Diva on point. Matthew's going to reunite with his teammates, put the shield down, and George Mason's going to stabilize here, but not without losing 1 tick and a little bit more than half of the next one. 58.7% when all things are said and done, and George Mason, things get a little bit dangerous there.
Yeah, a little bit. Fortunately, they were able to keep enough members on that the second tick was never captured. It was Niner that actually had a great position on that first high ground. Those walls that was able to get a lot of damage off onto members of ODU during that fight, and GMU kind of able to play multiple angles, which is what you want to do against this composition. Of course, you don't want to be all in the same spot, as I said earlier. You don't want to get dove and tank a lot of AoE damage, so they're able to take advantage of that and provide threats from multiple angles here. Now they're trying to get aggressive at the choke, do kind of like a soft hit where a Binks goes in, does get forced out. He's trying to win the Tracer duel. ODU's Tracer does get out. They're trying to force right off the high ground. It's going to be that Echo that's looking to control those angles. It's going to be the only character on ODU that can really play at an off angle and get significant value, while GMU has a few. You can consider Bat, Ashe, and Diva to be those characters. Now, right getting quite low, is going to be forced to throw out the bomb just so that he can remech during the fight, and it does pick up the Ana on the side of ODU, so now GMU able to survive and get good value off of the Bongo that stays up as well for that damage boost, and really turn that fight into GMU's favor despite ODU finding an okay opportunity to try to engage.
Yeah, George Mason going to chase those last couple picks there, get the Brig at the very tail end of it, stall this push out a little bit more, and push up and hold outside for a little bit, but Matthew going to decide against it. Going to fall back towards the middle of point, contesting the high ground here. Forces the bio nade out of ODU, so maybe a resource that can be used to George Mason's advantage at going down, but things are going to sort of stall out here. Tracer duel going on in the background, and Binks gets the better of that one, and that's going to be a good look for George Mason to stall out this push. They're going to push forward onto it, maybe for a second, just taking high ground control and showing ODU that they're not allowed in at this point. Maybe get 6 members and regroup and try again.
Yeah, they do have to watch out here as a lot of ultimates are coming out online for both sides. It's going to be ODU that needs to play fast with these ultimates. I think they might be waiting for the nano. So GMU finds a big opportunity to land a stick, or at least a pulse bomb in an area where they couldn't escape. Gets 2 picks there. So now ODU sent packing. They only have 40 seconds to work with. So this may be problematic. GMU able to win that fight with only 1 ult committed.
Yeah, and that's just a concept of priority here. Ooh, wait, as I say this, Niner in the back line, looking for a sneaky kill out of the Tracer. Doesn't give away their position. Yeah. But it's just I can't make my point. Niners in such a situation here.
Thank God they don't have headphones. The voice line went off on Ash. They couldn't quite hear it.
Niner just looking for a more high priority target that he can reliably get. Throwing Bob in the back line here with the dynamite. It gets eaten though, so half of that combo not going to work out here. Now he's kind of finding himself on odds as the rest of the fight is on point, and he's in the back here just looking for someone to hit. Big bomb comes out of the Echo from ODU, and that's going to look like a bit of a point flip here.
Yeah, they still have the Brig.
Brig and Niner looking to fight, contest as long as they can. Here comes the Hammond from the spawn. You're going to get another tick here, but George Mason should be here in time to contest it. They are. Matthew going to get onto the point and slam down. Doesn't catch anyone, but looks like it's good enough. Oh, close there. ODU almost steps on the point. Just 2 members remaining from them. The Lucio in the Echo. But they're just dancing around, waiting. It's a long time. Yeah, no one's going to be coming to save you. You guys have to pull something miraculous out here if you want to flip that one, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, ODU, they had a great opportunity to engage. They've had a few of those. It looks like they're maybe losing target focus in the mid-fight, so GMU is taking advantage of that. They have the composition that thrives off of you not taking a target down fast enough. Of course, that initial dive in with the Nano Winston, Amform was able to get a big immortality, and he didn't become the target. It took a while for them to notice Amform was there really keeping up the tanks before they switched to him and took him out. And I think that was exactly enough time for GMU to get enough of a staggered switch over to a stall composition, get on that point, and slowly start taking members off of ODU for that point hold.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point you made about the mid-fight. We saw that big bomb come out in that last fight from the Echo who duplicated as the Diva, but after those 2 initial picks happen, nothing really more comes out of ODU. They sort of stall out, and they're doing damage, yes, but not all to the same targets, and buys time for George Mason to get those 2 members that went down back up, and eventually it's 2 CP, so if you're not wiping the other team pretty quick, the respawns are going to come in, and you're just blowing resources to make no progress.
So now ODU is on this composition that is trying to take advantage of these off angles. They're going to have the turret as an answer to if GMU wants to pull out a Tracer or an Echo, but they are running neither. They are running 6-man dive, which wants to play very fast. So if they are able to close down the kills and play a good mid-fight that can take out targets, then GMU will show they have the better macro. They are deserving of the title of best team Virginia. It's going to come down to this offense they're setting up. Good angles. It's going to be a Binks that's scouting early. Does see that Anna on the high ground. GMU not looking to engage just yet. They're going to switch Niner over to the Reapers, so we'll see what kind of play they're going for to get Reaper into this action before they engage. And now they're going in fast. They see the target. It looks like it's going to be the Orisa and the Anna that's stuck in front or by the Orisa. Unfortunately, it's going to be Niner that goes down first in the fight, which is a bit unfortunate for GMU, but Wright sees a good opportunity to close the kill on to Brig. Now Zappat follows up that and gets the Anna as well. Now Amform unfortunately going down, so not enough members falling on the side of ODU for GMU to close the kill. Unfortunately, a lot of the damage went into the gold Orisa and was mitigated. So GMU, unfortunately, not being able to win that fight. Of course, Niner going down as well was a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, Niner goes down early there, and a lot of George Mason's damage is taken out just from that one player. Ever sneaky, though, Niner found way on the high ground, but 2 picks from ODU early is going to lead them out of the fight, and they're just not even going to consider this one. They're going to regroup and wait for all 6 to be up once more.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward play from GMU. Of course, I think we've seen a little bit of their 6-man dive earlier tonight against a brawl composition, which that didn't end up working out for GMU. Now they're playing against a spam one. They need to stay on top of these dives and make sure they're at the same time. It looks like they're not in the same location. They're looking to push in part of the low ground. Unfortunately, Niner gets quite low. Needs to be kept up if they want to win this fight. GMU now has a great opportunity to push in and form, covering for a lot of the mistakes GMU could make with the healing of the Coalescence. The bomb's going to land on the point, break the Brig shield, but the Brig is currently rallying, so it's a lot of damage, or a lot of healing available for ODU in this fight. The EMP doesn't break the Orisa shield, which I didn't know could happen, because I thought
maybe
it
could have been
that.
casting in air while it was there.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Interesting situation, yeah. It was a matter of seconds there, probably.
Unfortunate for GMU. Now only 1 minute and 26 seconds on the clock, so now the problems we've stated of ODU seem to be showing in GMU, but it's not just the mid-fight. It looks like they aren't together on that first initial dive. They had that on the first fight, but now no longer. I haven't seen a very coordinated dive since then.
Yeah, it seems to be that Niner is just very aggressive, but the rest of George Mason might not be with them. Just dying early in both of those fights, and with the Sombra, it's just a large chunk of your damage that you can't afford to lose early on. George Mason going to stack up here in the top. Niners in the back line. No EMP, though. It's just going to be a one-hack flank. They're going to dive in here, and they're going to all jump in on this stairwell here. 2 supports from ODU sure to go down, and George Mason taking their time here, making sure they're all healthy before they continue the fight. It's sure to be one with no supports on the side of ODU, but still easier said than done. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Point that's getting quite low. Niner. It's a name he's had in the past. GMU, even though that wasn't the cleanest, that was, I think, exactly what we needed to see. They may have ult-tracked that they were down for that next fight, and with 6-man dive, you don't really have the luxury of playing slow, especially against spam. Maybe against brawl, yeah, you can play slow. You kind of have to. But in that fight there, they find the great opener of getting on to the Ana and the Brig and closing those kills, but not continuing the fight there. They ebb and flowed. They waited for their cooldowns, for their resources to go into the fight because they were down in the ult economy. They needed to play slow, and they identified that, and they played to that condition. So that was exactly what we were looking for from GMU. Now coming into this next fight, they have 3, 4, maybe 5, heck, even 6 ultimates that could be coming up in this fight. So now they're just going to wait for those. Binks is going to be getting his ult right here, and it's going to be the flank from Niner. He's trying to find the teleport in. Takes a little bit of damage from the turret, but it's the EMP and the Coalescence that come out first for George Mason, and now they just have all the rest of these ults. The beat to sustain here as well. Let's throw a bomb on top of that. We still have a Blossom. There's no way ODU has any hope of holding this point.
That's true. Blossoms here is just going to be for fun.
Yeah,
the game's already going to come to a close.
Yeah, it was going to be on the Diva, and they had the hack available for it too, so just GMU had an answer to absolutely everything that ODU had, and that's it. That was the best of 5. That was the last map that we played tonight. It was the 4th one, so GMU was 2-1 in the series. They just needed that last point. I wish I said that before they went and took it, so just like that, no more Overwatch tonight. GMU getting the big victory.
You really got to hand it to him as well. George Mason coming back from the brink there. It was looking pretty dire, but that great dive they had onto the back line of ODU, taking out both supports, playing it smart, waiting. Just really good decision-making overall, and great team fight execution on that second point. Clear sweep, and they take it. Really good job.
Yep. That's just how that went. GMU did lose that first COF. That's the 1 point they did get in the map score. But GMU not traditional reverse sweep, but I don't know what you call it. It's only a reverse sweep if they have 2 matches.
Yeah, if they had 2, they're at match point, but not the case.
Not the case. Anyway,
just a good mental reset from the first map.
Yeah, and then a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, they only end the season with 9 sweeps out of 11 games in CSL, but the match wins. That means GMU just finished their first undefeated regular season in GMU Overwatch history. So I cannot understate how that is such an amazing feat for GMU to take home tonight. That it's just never been done before, and ODU was hungry for that win, and GMU just after the first map was having none of it, getting a full hold on Kings Row, followed by a closer Gibraltar game, but a pretty confident offense and defense in the overtime. GMU will just have these moments where everything clicks, and then all of a sudden they're just like 6 holds up in the economy, or they have a massive advantage, which they've really been on top of Ultimates tonight. The economy's been looking great, thriving even, and other than a few mishaps in focus and coordinating the dive, GMU's been really on top of tonight, and they should be looking great going into tomorrow, where they have 2 more matches. It's going to be one more Activision Blizzard collegiate game, which will be the last one of that season. They're currently at a 6-3 record. They need 7-3 to potentially move on to playoffs. Again, it's up to the tiebreaker score. And then we have a Mace match after that, which actually, is that right? Yeah, there's going to be 2 Mace matches tomorrow. So for the first one will be on the Mace stream. It'll be a Shenandoah match. Again, you're gonna have to check the either the Mace Discord or our Twitch for when that game will happen. But keep a tab open for us tomorrow, because there's gonna be, I guess, 3 games, and one will be, I think, in the afternoon. The next two will be in the evening. So 7:30 again tomorrow for the ABC match against Kent State. I've remembered. Thank you. You've remembered as well. Yeah. And then another Mace match in the evening against some team I didn't check, but I'll check for you, and then we'll close out the stream.
Yeah, their abbreviation is Hood. It looks like, I'm not sure.
Oh, Hood. Okay.
Cool, that would be.
Hood. I think got a victory over GMU in Rocket League. I forget if it was the A team or not though. So. That was the only other lore. We'll avenge whatever Rocket League team that was in Overwatch, so do not miss it. I've been Hamster Quest. I still am. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow.
Having a great time too.
I love you, Griff. We'll see you. Will we see you tomorrow?
And I'll be here, bro. I love this game.
That's what I want to hear. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow as well. Y'all have a great evening. Enjoy your Friday night. And see you tomorrow, and have a good night.
Night, guys.
Again, I love you.